All right, guys, let's focus on the broadcast here. Good morning, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Live from Columbia High School, our great friend, Principal Corey Wolstenholme, joining us. Corey, good to have you back with us here on KIDO Talk Radio. Thanks to our friends at Cap Ed and Team Mazda Subaru.
Great to be back, Kevin. Good to see you.
Tell us a little bit about the year that has been. It's been about a year since we've been here, it seems.
It has been.
We missed you in the fall.
No, you were here in the fall.
Was I?
I remember. And actually,
that's why you're an educator.
You being here right now it means something to me. It means it's springtime or spring's coming. You know, some people, they look for like a groundhog, and
right.
I look for Kevin Miller.
Indeed. Well, let's talk a little bit about, since our last adventure here in the fall to currently here in the spring, what's going on at Columbia.
You know, this year's unique for us. In years past, when we've had this time together, I wasn't able to talk to you very much about our extracurricular.
Right.
But this year has been exponential. Yeah, it's just been a boon for us, and so that's been unique for our school this year, is to have so many students doing extra things, going above and beyond, but then to have the success, being able to go to state competitions and to be more involved, and then for our fans to get excited. So a lot more of that this year. So that's been unique this year.
State debate champs.
Yeah, recent state championship there. And they were perennial, you know, they did well year in and year out. So we had one or a few that would go to state championships or compete. But, yeah, we had volleyball and football and basketball and wrestling and, yeah, many others. So it's been exciting this year.
Well, it's been a vision of yours. I can remember when, you know, we first got here and you first got here, you were talking about not only building up the academic performance but building up the athletic support, and then the two working hand in hand to make the school and the community that much stronger.
Yeah, indeed. It's nice to see it come together for children who, they're okay, you know, taking it on the chin and just being tough and
sure.
and resilient.
Like you.
But yeah. But to have it come together and to see that look in their eye and see them successful in the classroom, but then also to be proud and to be happy for their friends or for themselves.
Let's talk a little bit about the latest scandal going on. And you've heard about these Hollywood folks paying people thousands, and maybe some people, you know, if you believe the published reports, and who believes that anymore, billions or millions of dollars to get their kids into college. Mm-hmm. Now, you guys do that for free here at Columbia. But the idea of just how big business getting into college has become.
Yeah. Education, there's lots of money that surrounds it, and there's lots of competing interests. So to see the concept of headhunting, right, to hire somebody who would advantage my child over others. I can see that. I can see where it comes from. However, there's so much effort. There's so much that goes into doing that for every child. And so, yeah, it is interesting to watch.
Let's talk a little bit more for people that are not familiar with your school, your area. Tell us a little bit about Columbia and obviously the great successes that y'all hear, and we'll get into some other stories. I won't give you the typical Kevin Miller 75 questions in one sentence. I'm trying to be a good Kevin Miller here today, but we're excited as always to be here at Columbia.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. For us, we're unique in that we're the newest of the high schools that are in town. We still feel that way, but establishing an identity and hitting a stride that's been good for us. We're also unique in that we're one of the few schools in the area that's doing personalized mastery learning. And we're also unique in that we have a STEM academy, a school within our school that meets the needs of students that, you know, 5-6 years ago, we were just doing our best to meet their needs. But now we have a place for them, and they don't have to leave and go to an alternative or a private or a small charter. They can stay right here and have that unique experience. It's about 160 kids, and they don't have to worry about, well, how do I do band and how do I participate in these other high-end, you know, career technical courses that they just don't have in those other places. So we're very proud of that. Our performing arts are very strong. In fact, I need to do a shameless plug. West Side Story.
We love the
West Side Story. In their last 2 nights, I'm coming tonight with my family. Tonight and tomorrow night.
Never gets old for you, huh?
No, we love it. My wife teases me. Our dates are school activities.
Wow.
It's exciting.
That's what she signed up for. Corey Wolstenholme joining us, our principal here at Columbia High School. What do you make of all the people moving into the Treasure Valley? Have you been hit by that?
Not as much yet. We're seeing a lot of that activity happen on the west side of Nampa and the north side of Nampa. But we're beginning to see some some movement, but as of yet, not as much.
Well, it is fascinating how the area continues to develop, especially here in Canyon County, when we're talking about people coming in, and you're an undiscovered secret. That might be a good thing. Maybe you won't have to build on any more additions like everybody else has to.
No, we're at a really good size, and we have room to grow.
What does it take today to be successful, to motivate your kid? Because people say, well, okay, you're at Columbia. It is Columbia's day. But in addition to that, just some general knowledge for people always wondering, how can I get my kid motivated?
Yeah. At the heart of your question, I would say listening, which is an art that...
Wait a minute, listen to the kids? Shouldn't the kids be listening to us?
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way anymore.
Yeah, so if I were to ask a child, what motivates you, that might be shocking to them, because for years, or just the way it's been, we've done things for them, thinking it's what they want, or done things to them, depending on their perspective and our perspective. But to actually get to the heart of what motivates an individual, to really listen to them. And that's difficult because we're dealing with 1,300 at once. And so how do you personalize that? And so to get down at the level of, let's mentor you, let's sit down and talk about what motivates you, versus just programming and kind of almost cattle prodding and herding large groups through.
Right.
And what you notice there is that as the student begins to trust that you really do care about their motivations, their desires, what they want for their future, and then do some things that actually invest in that, whether it's time, a resource, or just listening to them and encourage them. That's at the heart of the individual kid and helping them.
Finally, you've dedicated your life to public education. Public education usually takes a beating in the public. People, they talk about their sports team, they talk about their schools, the value of public education. And why do you do it?
I do it because I have an ability to touch the lives of our future. I have 6 of my own. They're my children. And if I was in a different industry, I would primarily focus on those 6. But I get to be an educator and work with fellow educators. Right behind you, there's a picture of our whole staff. And as I look into their eyes and understand why they do what they do day in and day out, it's because there's 1 or 2 or 3 that today they'll be able to uplift, strengthen, or even change their future. And to be able to do that and see that day in and day out, it's really easy to armchair quarterback because we all went through it, right? We all know a lot about public education because we went through it. But it's a lot more complex when you're an educator and doing it day in and day out. Worth it.
Sure.
So worth it.
Anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Come see West Side Story.
All right. Tonight,
7 o'clock. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Last 2 nights.
right.
And thank you, Kevin. Your partnership, and when you started this, it was at a time when we all needed you. And to see something sustain, not just be a flash in the pan, thank you.
Thank you, brother. Always believe in us.
Yeah.
Always the first to get on the list. Thank you, Corey.
Thank you.
Kevin Miller in the morning. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. An unfortunate shooting happened in a mosque in New Zealand overnight. We'll get the details for you. Also, Beto O'Rourke making his way through Iowa. A lot going on here. Your phone number is always welcome at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And get this, the big news that everybody is talking about. The Senate has decided not to back President Trump. They have passed the resolution, I believe, with 12 Republicans saying that, Mr. Trump, we're not fans of your national emergency. We're not fans of what you have in store for the country. Never mind that presidents from Jimmy Carter, George Bush, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, the other George Bush, agreed that there have been national emergencies, but Republicans have gone along with this and saying, you know something? This is not a national emergency. And now we could play the clips of everybody talking about the fate of the republic. And, we've got 2 on-site producers here today, for those of you keeping score at home, along with Ray Amaya back at the broadcast center. And believe it or not, I think they're too young to have seen, what was it, the first, or the third Star Wars prequel, which is really the sixth, but anyway, where they were talking about the fate of the democracy and everything else. I'm sure what happened on the Senate floor rivaled what we saw in one of the last movies that George Lucas produced concerning Star Wars. And you have people going on and on talking about, we've got to stop the dictators and all this. And then you have 12 Republicans and the House voting against the president. Now, is this really what we needed? Considering that we've had national emergencies declared for quite some time. Look, statistically, regardless of what you think about immigration, we have more people flooding the zone, to use an old football term, than we had in the highest year of the Obama presidency, where you had 68,000 people seeking asylum, coming into the country illegally, caught and released, whatever you want to call it. I think last month it was 100,000. Now, why do you think that they're coming here? To hear what Chuck Schumer has to say?
You can be for the wall or against the wall. You can think what we're doing at the southern border is inadequate. But that issue pales before the issue before us. And that is how far an executive can reach when Congress does not want to do what that executive wants.
There we have it. Thankfully, we've got Chuck Schumer and the 12 Republicans, none by the name of Risch or Crapo, voting for this, voting for it. And the president says, look, I'm going to veto it. I'm going to make this happen. But at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, who really buys this stuff? Do you?
If a president can invoke an emergency because he didn't get his way or she didn't get her way, without real cause, without a real emergency, woe is our republic in many ways, in ways the Founding Fathers feared.
That's right, because the Founding Fathers feared a lot of things. They feared an incredible government state. They feared an out-of-control federal government. Oh, that's what we have right now. They feared a nation without borders, but they feared Donald Trump. Coming up, we'll break that down. And we are at Columbia High School, promoting our school, securing our future. And I do want to thank Corey Wolstenholme for acknowledging this program. We have continued to fight to keep this program on the air, thanks to CapEd Credit Union, thanks to Team Mazda Subaru. It is the only program in the country that dedicates itself to education, not just talk radio, but in the entire realm of commercial radio, where 20 times a year we go to schools. We couldn't do it without you supporting our program. We couldn't do it without CapEd Credit Union. We couldn't do it without Team Mazda, and we certainly couldn't do it without great schools like Columbia High School. We continue to keep our commitment of serving the great Treasure Valley right here. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.
President Trump again vowing to veto a measure overturning his emergency declaration. He told reporters in the Oval Office his administration is moving forward with the wall.
There's a lot of contracts being let out actually tomorrow and over the next week for additional many, many miles of wall.
There are now 20 states challenging the declaration in court, claiming it's unconstitutional. The issue expected to make its way to the U.S. Supreme Court. In Washington, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
And thank you, Rachel Sutherland. Kevin Miller in the morning from Columbia High School. Let's go to the phones, commenting on that. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Hank in Boise, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning. I don't think that Schumer, if in the Obama administration, would have felt so strongly about the constitutional issue. I think Schumer is a partisan first and always. Constitution is secondary to him. It's partisan. It's Democrat control is what matters to Schumer. But what's really sickening is a senator or person like Romney of Utah. He is disgusting. I think that the thing about Romney is that he's motivated by personal jealousy. He sees Trump as a block to his own ambitions. I don't think he's ever given up his ambitions to be president. And it's all, and then he's never been able to be tolerant of other factions within the Republican Party. When he was the nominee back in 2012, he basically threw out part of the main delegation, or the Ron Paulers in the main delegation, which was needless. it was one of the reasons why I think he was defeated, got one of the lowest vote totals for the turnout on the base was not that high in his election and contributed to his defeat, was that he was not willing to bring the party together. He's in a sense, he lives back in the days of Goldwater, the Goldwater, when Goldwater was the enemy. I think that he was a Rockefeller man, that both his father and him were Rockefeller men, and he's never forgiven the conservatives or Goldwater for defeating Rockefeller, and they continue their ideological warfare within the Republican Party. I think that it's a shame that he came back into politics.
Well, do you think he's going to try and primary President Trump?
I think he's pondering it, but I don't know if he's going to do it. I think the odds. I think that he's going to weigh the odds, and I think he's going to come down to the decision that he can't win it. But
but he's got a secure seat in Utah. I mean, he's going to be there for life.
Well, I'm sure he's going to be there for life. I mean, the Romneys are an adored name. They go back a long ways. They go back to all the way back to Mexico, because in a sense the Romneys were one of the ones who were the die-hard polygamists who settled down in Utah, and Irvine, who was one of the counselors to President Grant, and also earlier to that Joseph Smith, used to be the presiding bishop of those settlements down in those Mormon settlements down in Mexico. So they're an old Mormon name going back to Nauvoo, and they're beloved within the community. But I'll tell you what, his politics and his fight are sickening. I just hope that I hope that maybe he decides to retire. I know he'll be in there as long as he wants. But
right, he just got in. Hank, I got to run. Thank you. Traffic and weather together. KIDO Talk Radio.
It's Channel 7's Eric Everett.
And we go to Patriot Ray, who joins us now on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Patriot Ray.
Good morning. No better way to start your day than with Kevin Miller on the Kevin Miller Show. Hey, it's a great day. Columbia High. Corey Wolstenhume, he's awesome. He's very dedicated to the kids. The West Side Story, good show. Need to go see it. Saw it last week. In fact, I'd like to go again, but just won't have the time. But, all these things going on with Schumer and everybody. What a twisted mind these people have. They don't want to protect our country against illegals. They don't want to protect us. They won't put a border up. They just go ahead and leave it open because they're going to get votes out of it. I just think that is just so wrong. But all the Republicans who voted on that side, they're no better. They're just rhinos, just filling a spot because now they've got it made. They're going to get a lifetime retirement out of everything, no matter how long they stay there. But they're just being destructive. And Romney, I'm sorry. I'm glad he never made it as president.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this, Patriot Ray. Do you think that he's going to possibly make a run at the White House?
Well, he very well could. He very well could. I mean, he's got the name recognition, but he turned on everybody as far as I'm concerned. His platform that he ran on originally, he's just twisted that up. And to have the vitriol against the president who beat him righteously in the debates and everything else, and in the way he's treated this president, the way they've treated this president, they never did anything like this to Obama or Clinton or anybody else. They just go ahead and never worried about executive orders or whatever they did. They just went ahead and let them do it. But as soon as you get somebody who wants to do the right thing and protect our country and protect its people and bring people here legally, that's the real thing. Legal is the main word. I want people here who want to love and be here in this country to support it and to actually support our republic. Now, when Schumer says republic, my stomach turns because he doesn't mean it. He has no idea what this republic stands for. So you stay fired up, keep everybody coming, and keep the show going because I'll tell you, we need you here. This is a great platform for us to have the opportunity to get out and say what's on our mind. My 70 years on this earth, I don't know. I won't be around that much longer, but I'll tell you what, I really hate to see what this country is doing. But I am so proud of the young people who are going to Columbia and others. So you just stay fired up, my friend.
Well, you're there to keep us fired up, so thank you.
Well, we love you. We appreciate what you do. God bless this great Idaho We just need to keep fighting for what's right. We need to protect ourselves. So have a great day. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. God bless you, Patriot Ray. Joining us now, Doug from Mountain Home with Kevin Miller from Columbia High School on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, Kevin. I like that guy you were just talking to. He speaks eloquent, good words. I wish I could, because I just get so worked up inside that I want to cuss, scream, and beat the hell out of somebody.
Well,
because Romney, he couldn't even beat you know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
So why is he even there? Come on, Mormon people. That ought to tell you. It ought to tell you what their church is.
Oh,
I mean,
I don't know
have
about
somebody.
that.
Yeah, I do. I mean,
Well, back to Senator Romney.
I just don't. I don't understand where people come from. Just like what Patriot Ray just said about Schumer. I mean, they have no patriotism to this country. They have patriotism to their wallet.
Right.
That's it. Period. Money. We're seeing it, people, all over this place. I mean, it's just money. Money is power, and that's what it's all about, power and money. Kevin, while you're there at them schools, I hope you get to teach them kids a little bit about our history. Do you? Or they keep you pretty well clammed up?
No, they don't keep me clammed up here. They do an excellent job, and actually, that was what I used to do. I used to be a high school history teacher many years ago.
Well, good for you, because that's what this is all about, history. If they would open their eyes up and their hearts and their brains, you don't have to go very far back in history to see what the heck's going on. You don't.
Doug, great
And
call. You have a great weekend, Doug.
You too. Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye. More coming up from Columbia High School. We'll take your calls on the border resolution, the congressional reaction. Already, folks are fired up today. The college recruitment scandal as well. Would you pay $1 million to get your kid into the college of their choice? All that more going on coming up next. But first, it's Doug, not to be confused with Maggie. My bad on that one. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, Kevin.
And I do want to thank our friends here at Columbia High School, promote our schools, secure our future, rolling since 2011 here in the Gem State. Katie Hebdon joining us, FFA leader.
Correct.
Right, Future Farmer of America.
Yep.
Boy, why is that so important to you?
It's important to me because it's helping develop agricultural leaders for our future. It's preparing us for all of the jobs we're going to go into and really just making us amazing leaders.
Indeed. What have you learned?
I have learned how to work in teams. I've learned amazing public speaking through FFA. I've given extemporaneous speeches with only 30 seconds to prepare, so I've learned how to be in an amazing giant family. It's just been an overall great experience.
And you're only a sophomore.
Yeah, I am only a sophomore.
Boy, imagine what happens when you're a senior.
I know. I'm so excited to see where this goes.
I'm just impressed that you could pronounce X whatever. I'm not even going to try to do that. And no, we won't ask you with 15 seconds to give us a speech. But it's a good skill to have. A lot of us are afraid to speak in public.
Yeah, public speaking isn't my favorite thing to do, but FFA has definitely helped me with it. Public speaking doesn't scare me anymore because of FFA, and it's just something you have to know how to do.
Well, can you give us the experiences in FFA that have helped you get over the fear that a lot of us have, even at our older years, of speaking in public? What have they had you do?
Sure. One of the things that I've done recently is I went through district officer sifting to be on the district officer team, and for that we were given random topics, and you had 30 seconds to prepare your speech, and then you went in and gave it to a giant panel of people. I've done public speaking events with them.
So, what would be a topic? Can you remember one of them?
Yeah, so it was really silly how they had us do it. We reached into a covered box and pulled out random items like pencils, calculators, flashlights, and had to come up with a speech based on it.
A speech on a pencil?
Exactly.
Right. Boy, that is amazing. What do you say to folks that, I'm not talking about myself personally, But for the sake of making everybody feel good about themselves, I'll use myself as a personal example. They go to the supermarket. They're in their worlds. They don't understand how important farming is, not only to the state of Idaho, but to our own country and national security.
Farming is so important to us because everything in our daily lives is impacted by farming. Your milk in the morning is impacted by farming. Your clothing, the cotton that goes into that. Literally everything we do has farming in it, and without it, we wouldn't be able to survive.
Right. And what motivates you, again, to be involved in farming?
It's something that's been in my family forever. My great-grandparents dairy farmed. My grandparents had a sheep farm. It's something that I've always been passionate about, and FFA and CTE in Idaho has just developed that further.
I think you get a lot of time off in farming, right?
No, it's the opposite, actually. Many people think it's a laid-back job, but really, you're on call 24 hours a day in case something goes wrong.
Right. And the animals don't take time off either.
No, they do not.
Katie, tell us a little bit about your other educational experiences here at Columbia and why this school has made such a difference for you and for people that go to Columbia High School.
Their administrators are absolutely amazing. I am a transfer student, so I go between two schools, and I love how I feel when I get to come here. They're always super welcoming, and I love their staff here. In the ProTech building, it's like a giant family. Everyone is always there for you if you're having a good day or a bad day, and they're just amazing people.
What do you want to say now? This is the station that your parents and grandparents listen to. What do you want to say to them? Any pieces of advice?
Thank you for helping me get where I'm at. I really appreciate all of this stuff that you'd allow me to do with my goats and bees and all my extracurricular activities.
Boy, indeed. Katie, thank you very much. Excellent job. I know you're only a sophomore, but what are you planning to do?
I am planning on being a large animal veterinarian, specifically dairy. I want to go work on a dairy being their veterinarian.
Wow. Well, thank you, ma'am. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in so early. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Kevin Miller in the morning. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And you still have to go to school. This isn't the end of the day, huh?
Yep.
All right. When's your first class?
7:40.
Oof. Well, got about an hour.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Great job. Appreciate it. Phone number's here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. As we've been talking about, we've got this Senate resolution that played out last night. And remember, when you listen to KIDO Talk Radio, whether it's Glenn Beck or Sean Hannity or Kevin Miller or Lars Larson or Dave Ramsey or our friends at the Overnight, George Norrie, or, Clyde Lewis, you're listening to the station that proudly breaks down the big issues through our Fox News affiliation. Let's take a listen to Mike Emanuel talk a little bit about what happened in Congress yesterday.
12 Republicans voted with Democrats to reject President Trump's declaration of a national emergency at the southern border. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell stood in support of the president on the Senate floor.
Just the facts of the matter. And the facts are not at all ambiguous. There's a clear border security and humanitarian crisis on the southern border.
Senate Democratic Leader Chuck Schumer ripped Republicans who supported the president on his declaration of a national emergency.
Because President Trump simply wants it, they say let's abandon those principles and vote to change fundamentally the way the balance of power works. Shame.
On Capitol Hill, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Thank you very much, Mike Emanuel. This is how the vote actually sounded.
The yeas are 59. The nays are 41. The joint resolution is passed.
So, at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, Kevin Miller in the morning here, when we're thinking of what happened and what's next, we would love to hear from you. We are live at Columbia High School, but you have people basically sitting back and doing this. Let's go to Max in Garden City. Max, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Max.
Good morning, Kevin. Thanks for doing the things you do with our schools. They need a little more exposure. You know, it's interesting, this whole education scandal right now. If in either of my two books, I mention how in China there is an entire industry built around thriving American universities to get their kids in. The typical fee, like $50,000, got my friend's daughter into Harvard. And another $50,000 or $100,000 will assure her undergraduate degree.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're saying that for $100,000 you'll get in, and another $100,000 she'll get her degree?
And sometimes for less, sometimes 50-50. I see this all the time. They call these people closers. They're agents in China. And their job is to seek out the wealthy who want their kids to get a really decent tertiary education. And they get them into Australian, British, American, Canadian universities.
Well, what about Chinese schools?
Well, Chinese universities suck. Their best university, Tsinghua, has been so corrupted for so many decades. Even the Chinese know that this school is where rich kids pay their money and essentially buy a degree over a 4-year period of time. Well, the parents say, look, if my kid's going to get a degree and I got to pay for it anyway because the kid's stupid, I'll send him to America and get a really fancy degree. American universities are very highly thought of abroad. A cheap plug. In my book, Eyes on China, by Max Allen.
Well, okay.
You'll read all about it.
Yes, we'll read all about it. Back to this other situation involving the Senate vote. What do you make of that?
Doesn't it just make you tired? Oh, but you know what? Like I mentioned the other day, you can bet. I mean, okay, first of all, you're going to vote against the president. You know he's going to veto it, but you're going to vote against it anyway. Why even bring it to the floor when you know the president's going to stomp on it? It's easy. Rand Paul, people have got dirt on you. Chucky Schumer, people got dirt on you. There's blackmail. I swear to God, there's blackmail at play, and they're doing as they're told because they don't want to go to jail or lose their cushy job. It's a national emergency. We have tens of thousands of illegal aliens. That's right, illegal aliens swamping our border every day. And the Border Patrol is just outgunned and outmanned. The Democrats are out to abolish them entirely. It's war. It's more than just a national emergency. And God bless Donald Trump for having the fortitude to recognize it, stick by his guns, and because they don't have enough dirt on Donald Trump, he'll continue going in this right direction.
Right. So, well, Max, here's the other issue at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Why would the Republicans go along with that? Why would Republicans go along with that? Why would 12 Republicans vote that way when they know the president is going to, in fact, veto this, and every Republican who's running for re-elect, they voted against this resolution?
Well, you know, again, somebody's got dirt on those Republicans. They had no choice. Their masters told them, you're going to get up and make a public face, and you're going to vote against Donald Trump, or these pictures, or these records, or these tweets are going to go to the public. You'll lose your job. You'll be disgraced. You'll be another Jesse Smollett. Or worse yet, they'll just throw you in prison and throw the key away. There's blackmail on them. The Clinton machine continues to work.
Max, we appreciate you. Thank you, brother.
All right, buddy. You take care.
All right. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Two stories we'll focus in on. Obviously, at the top of the hour, we'll get the latest from Fox News on that shooting at that New Zealand mosque. Today, we are promoting our school, securing our future. Once again, back at Columbia High School here in the Treasure Valley, thanks to Cap-Ed Credit Union, Team Mazda Subaru, and you for making it happen. You're listening to Kevin Miller on your home for Hannity, KIDO Talk Radio.
Your morning espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning.
Comrade de Blasio.
Great to be here at Columbia High School. Thank you, Ray Amaya, for that blast from one of our previous broadcasts here. Kevin Miller in the morning. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Coming up, we'll be hearing more of our kids, our parents, our teachers, and we do this every Friday. Over 20 schools throughout the year that we're on the road. And, of course, it is our spring edition of Promote Our Schools, Secure Our Future. Don't forget Miller's Mission coming up the last week of May. We'll be making a major announcement for our spring efforts to promote the Boise Rescue Mission, what you can do to make a difference here in the Treasure Valley. So the FBI is on the alert for scams, particularly when it comes to getting into colleges, getting into universities. Here's the FBI on the scams.
This is a case where they flaunted their wealth, sparing no expense, to cheat the system so they could set their children up for success with the best education money could buy, literally.
There we have it. Of course, the FBI saying the real victims, well, in their opinion, here are the real victims.
And the real victims in this case are the hardworking students who did everything they could to set themselves up for success in the college admissions process, but ended up being shut out because far less qualified students and their families simply bought their way in.
True, and it's interesting and I heard Sean Hannity talking about this the other day, that you have people that aren't athletes getting into the rowing program, the basketball program, and the big money program. It's sad and it's unfortunate when we're looking at getting into college, and I understand we all think that the process is fair and equitable. Like in life, it isn't. And then you have people being arrested, being made an example of, but do you really need to go to their homes and, arrest them in the middle of the night? Here is Andrew Lelling, U.S. Attorney, concerning the big stars that paid the big money to get their kids into the big schools.
Between roughly 2011 and 2018, wealthy parents paid Singer about $25 million in total to guarantee their children's admission to elite schools, including Yale, Georgetown, Stanford, the University of Southern California, the University of Texas, UCLA, and Wake Forest.
There we have it, $25 million to get into Wake Forest. Guess it's all about the return on investment. Maybe it's tax deductible. Tongue firmly in cheek. Traffic and weather together. KIDO Talk Radio.